This is like at 9:15 in the morning.
Okay.
And he goes, great call last night. Felt like we gave that one away. What a great atmosphere, which I want to get to in a second, which is why my friend is up here, Kyle.
Oh, we got KC up.
He said, two things I'd like to see you guys take a deep dive in. Now, keep in mind, this is the same guy that infuriates you, right? And he makes me mad, too. I'm not even going to cap. Like, he doesn't drive me up the wall with some of his snark. But, again, that is kind of just him. Anywho, he says, two things I would like to see you guys take a deep dive this week. We seem to struggle to extend leads. I don't know if it's complacency / coaching / PC or lack of focus, but we seem to play better down or tied. The number of times we have a lead that instead of building on, we give it up in both halves we've had, especially when we have chances to go up 2 scores. Is that a part of learning to win? If so, at some point, I want to see them do it. Number 2, run defense. Is it scheme? Is it personnel? Is it effort? Like, that's legit.
Those are real questions. I want to talk about both of them.
And that's what I would invest in.
Yeah, that's a type of those are questions.
This is something that I would invest in.
Because that's somebody that sounds like they want to learn.
Yep. So I'm always going to ride with those people.
I can appreciate that.
I just am.
Yeah.
So, because I'm not always going to be right, but I am. But one thing I do want to do is have open dialogue.
And you'll be well informed whether you're right or not.
100%.
Like, that's always like that is a deep.
Otherwise,
staple.
I'm just.
Yeah, otherwise, you're just not going to say anything.
Yeah, I'm gonna eat it. Be like, or say,
well, I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah, like, which I appreciate, right? Because
I don't know. I don't know enough. Man.
Too many people don't know, and they act like they do, and that's where we start to get.
But I am a little surprised that, and sometimes, and I get it, man. Because I have 2 buddies that are like this. Because there's 2 guys in particular that they like to listen to, and I don't. I mean, you're a grown up, right? You can do what you want to do.
Listen to whoever you want to.
But I do implore people. You've heard me go on a rant about if people get information from you, and you are an informational source,
you have an obligation.
I feel like it is your fiduciary responsibility to at least somewhat know what you're talking about.
At least try.
And if you don't, just say it's my opinion. But when we do like sweeping generalizations or these narratives and people glob onto them, they don't have enough information. And I'm not saying, because what those people would say to me is they'd be like, man, DB, like, you think this way and I think this way. And I'm like, okay, that's fair. But when you say this, what does this mean? Because I think I can disprove this, even though it's your opinion.
Sure.
I think I can disprove this.
By showing that maybe it's not a well-informed opinion.
But who wants to be around the Richard Head friend that is like, well, actually, why'd you say, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I get it.
So I just have to let it go.
You don't have to.
It's not my, no, I do. I don't want that kind of relationship.
That's fair. That's fair.
I just don't. But what happens is people will regurgitate it, and then we have to have those conversations.
They regurgitate it
and I
as
was
fact.
like,
that's the problem.
Who said that?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
There's a lot of things I said. Who said that too, over the last weekend or so?
I don't know.
I'd like to get into.
Jada, she doesn't say boo about anything unless she's mad. And I didn't see it. And my man Eric, like, even she was mad, and she's around other parents.
Yeah.
I'm not there.
Yeah.
She's around other parents, but like, what was her? He sent it to me. Now I got to find it because I didn't see it real time.
Which part?
He said the other half of your household was pretty pissed. Apparently she's fed up. Now, I didn't have any idea. And so he sent me this. And this is not even anything she does. She goes, I don't say much often on Twitter, but the amount of Nebraska fans, and she dropped it in air quotes, and the hate on Nebraska is unreal to me. This week has said a lot about people's true colors. Structured criticism is one thing. Now, this is different. This is her, not like this is how she is. Being a jerk is another. And I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah. Well, what'd you ask me when you walked in here today?
The retort. Oh, like when I first came through?
Yeah.
after I said, does it seem like it's a little more angry and toxic than normal or not?
Yeah, I think it does.
Like that's how it feels.
Yeah, that's the sense that I get.
But I took a day off of social media.
It's probably for the best. There's a lot going on.
I can't wait to hear what some of this is.
There's a lot going on.
Does that make sense?
No, I agree. I think I don't have a good reason why. I mean, I could make the argument that just like as a society, we're a little bit more angry and toxic than we've been in a while. So maybe that's part of it. And it just spills over to sports, which wasn't the case. But I don't know how anybody watched that game. I really don't. I'm not trying to be like, and again,
before you go, because I'm just going to lay out for you. Can I read this from Steve?
Absolutely.
I think this is how I like to function.
Yeah.
Right? This is how I read paper. This is how I used to consume information. I'm friends with people that have written bad things about me. Like, it's fine, right? Steve says, listening to only the opinions that fit your own narrative is what we are about as a nation, not just a fan. Being willing to hear opposite or just other views on any topic is the only way we can learn and grow. Does that sound familiar?
Absolutely.
You used to get mad at me for that, philosoph. But I rock with it.
I get mad because I think you take it too
not
far. But yes.
You think I take it too far?
I think you are willing to listen to people that you know don't have your best interest at heart, and that's where I draw lines.
Anywho,
that's where
this is not just a sports take, Steve. That's gonna get a like. That's going to get a retweet.
Yeah, I think he's 100% correct. That's what I mean by we're a more toxic just society than we used to be.
Okay.
Right? And because, like, I don't know how you can watch that game. And listen, I understand being frustrated with a lot of things. I do. I don't understand how you can watch that game and take away some of the narratives that I've heard fans, other media members, whoever talk about. I mean, there were some – and listen, I get that I am probably one of the more, like, fan-y type media people out there. Right.
Fan-y.
Like I project myself as a fan a lot, like because I care about the program.
You're always going to take a back seat to my guy Jack Mitchell.
Fair, yeah, fair.
Who, by the way, sent me one of the greatest texts ever. He said a mouthful without saying anything.
Yeah,
Jack, you get a hug.
Like I think people.
I gave him a heart emoji. Is that weird?
No, I do the heart emoji all the time.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the thumb up for whatever the thumbs up feels passive aggressive to me.
Yeah, I'm not. So I do that when I want to make people mad.
Yeah, like I feel like the thumbs up is passive aggressive. So if I actually like something, I heart it.
I'm not. Yeah. So I think I'm either only. We won't get into that. I only use a few emojis.
But I sit here and I go, okay, I don't know how you can watch that game. And I get being frustrated in the moment. I really do. Like, it's not like I sat there and enjoyed watching King Miller go for 8 or 9 a carry. Like, that sucks to watch. I get that. But at the end of the day, I don't know how you sit there and go, oh, the defense wasn't good enough. Or, like, I sit there and, okay, because there's a lot of narratives, and we're going to check them off one by one on the ones I don't understand. Because, number one, I don't understand how you can watch that and be mad at the defense, right? Does it suck to watch a team run the way USC did? Absolutely. Is that also a USC team that averages twice that many points per game and over 200 more yards per game than that? Absolutely. Is that a USC team that even in conference, if you want to be like, oh, let's take away the garbage teams that everybody plays, by the way, but let's take away the garbage teams and say, hey, they still average 12 points per game less, or they still average 12 points per game more than they had against Nebraska? Yeah, that's also true. Is this only the second time this season they've been held under 400 yards of total offense? Yeah, that's also true. Was the other defense Notre Dame that we universally think is pretty good? Yeah, that's also true. Has Lincoln Riley been only held to 21 points or fewer 6 times in the 4 years he's been at USC? Yeah, that's also true. So maybe the defense wasn't the problem. Maybe, right? So I don't know how you watch that game and see 337 yards of total offense, 21 points, for a team that is literally I think literally the best offense in the country, and say, defense was the problem, right? I get we don't like how it feels in the moment, right? Defense wasn't the problem. I don't know how you can watch that game, and at the very beginning of the third quarter, by the way, we're talking 13 minutes left in the third quarter. Is that almost all of it? Yes, it is. 13 minutes left in the first quarter. Your starting quarterback goes down. That's half the game. Nebraska was up 14-6 at that point. Do you think not having your starting quarterback might matter for an entire half of a game where you only score 3 points the rest of the way? Yeah, I think it might. That seems like a problem. I don't know how you can sit there and say, oh, Nebraska. Listen, were there coaching decisions I didn't love? Absolutely. I thought Lance brought up a great point about maybe getting a little conservative when Nebraska's up. When Nebraska's up 7-0, they get the ball back after their second straight 3 and out.
I don't know if you heard this, but the play DR got hurt. The negative folks in my DMs were mad at the play call.
We'll get to play calls.
Because there's one sequence that jumps out at me that needs probably a wrist slap.
Yeah, so I think there were two that I didn't love.
Okay, well, hold it. Go ahead, do your thing.
But this isn't to say that the coaching is 100% perfect. But I don't know how you can watch that game and sit there and think anything other than Nebraska lost because their starting quarterback and left tackle got hurt on back-to-back plays. It literally consecutive plays. I said the same series on Twitter. I was wrong. The sack ended one series. Pritchett got hurt on the very next play of the next series, which was 3 plays apart because of the Andrew Marshall interception. So, the Andrew Marshall interception was before that. But, it was literally 3 plays apart in real time. So they get hurt in back-to-back offensive plays with almost the entire second half left, and Nebraska is up at that point, 14-6, when Dylan Raiola goes down. I don't know how you watch that and say, oh, Nebraska got out-coached. Nebraska held Lincoln Riley, who we all week, genius, right? Offensive genius. Full stop. And I agree, by the way. I'm not saying he's not.
Statistics backed you up or us up, or them or whomever.
And now statistics back up that Nebraska did a good job game planning against that offense. 21 points, 337 yards, well below almost half of their averages on both of those. This was a very, very good defensive performance, even if we didn't like how it felt and looked in the moment. The results speak for themselves, right? Everybody tells me, oh, it's not about the metrics, whatever. It's about the points, idiot, right? Well, they scored half as many points as they normally do. So I don't know what to do with that if you think that's a bad coaching performance. Anyway, offensively, I don't know how you look at that and say, hey, they scored 14 points in the first half. Starting quarterback gets hurt as they're moving the ball, by the way, in the second half, and they're in USC territory when he gets, by the way, pretty dirty freaking tackle.
Yeah, so
that's a hip drop. That's illegal in the NFL.
Go ahead, do your thing.
Right? That's illegal in the NFL?
How do I feel about those?
Hate them.
Fine. I'm not.
I thought it was a dirty tackle. I get that it's not technically illegal in college football. That sucks, USC. That was crappy. Maybe he didn't do it on purpose. Sure felt like he tried to give a little piggyback ride on Dylan there and knock his legs out. Because I see your legs kick in between his. That doesn't feel like real accidental. I'm just saying. Whatever. Anyway, I don't know how you watch that game. And listen, I get the field goal sequence. Gets people mad about, hey, were they going for it? Were they not going for it? If they make the field goal, I know people don't like this. If they make the field goal, we're not talking about it, first of all. Even though it doesn't really change the results of the game, probably. But if they make the field goal, we're not talking about the indecision or whatever. And if you listen to the press conference, which I think most of you do, I thought the explanation made a lot of sense. They were never going to go for it.
Which was real time.
Yeah, it was immediately after. He says, hey, we were going for cadence.
No, the press conference was real time.
Right. So if you go and listen to the press conference, and Coach Rhule was asked about this. He says, hey, we were going for cadence, see if we could draw him off. Then we called the timeout, brought the kicker out. He's made a 53-yarder earlier this year. We thought he had 52 from that spot in his bag, so we gave him an opportunity to get points on the board. Same people that are upset when he said, hey, just take the points. He was trying to take the points. I understand that. I didn't have a problem with it. I get maybe we didn't like the mechanics of how it looked. I don't have a problem with that decision-making. If you would have been like, hey, I wish we would just go for it. Emmett's kind of eaten. Let's just try and get a yard. Okay, fair. I understand that. But at the end of the day, if Dylan Raiola doesn't get hurt, I 100% believe Nebraska wins that game. I zero doubt in my mind. I don't think there's any question.
I'm trying to get past the tackle so I can grow up again.
Sorry. It bothered me real time. It bothered me on rewatch.
I talk about those tackles all the time, whether it involves Nebraska or it doesn't. I've had a couple meltdowns on this show where I'll tell you, even coaching our players at the high school level, we don't do that. I say stay off guys' backs. Like the one time that they'll see Coach Benning come unglued is when we tackle like that. So I don't want to do that. My heart breaks. Absolutely for Dylan. And I think, you know, was fortunate. Unfortunately, a couple screenshots and stuff get shared from coaches and what people think about decisions real time and about Dylan's character real time and could he really play and didn't want to play and all this type of stuff. And real time when Coach Rhule was giving the press conference about, hey, I felt like I had to protect him. Like I didn't think he could defend himself.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you want to talk full stop. I was so bothered by the tackle
Mm-hmm.
that, and I wanted him to be okay because clearly his dad and I are close. Dylan and I were fine,
Mm-hmm.
but I talked to his dad way more. So if you're rocking with his dad, if I'm rocking with his family, then I'm rocking with the whole family.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I'm beside myself and I'm trying to laugh it off. And we'll talk to her on Wednesday. But I want to tell you that directly affected something that didn't have anything to do with anything because of the emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if he's okay,
Yeah.
right? And I hated the tackle. I didn't know if it was going to be head to head. I didn't like the excess part of the tackle, but I didn't want that to come across on the broadcast. So real time, I've got to eat it.
Mm.
And I look at the replay and I've got to eat it. So it's like, okay, like this is just real life what's going on in my brain. Be professional, be professional. Not only is that a family you love, that's a way to tackle in which like I got mad in the Cincinnati. Like I'm on record for not liking those
Mm-hmm.
tackles. And so Jess is trying to do her job and she can see better, she can hear better, she's there. So there's a stretch where they're getting ready to take the field, and I can see Dylan trying to warm up.
Mm-hmm.
In my head, I'm like, "Come on, kid! Like, come on, kid! Like, just a sprain. Come on, kid!" And she's like, "He's going in. No, he's not." She's just trying to walk us
Mm-hmm.
through what she's actually saying.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh my gosh, is he going in or not? Like, help me out here. Help me out." I thought I laughed, maybe I didn't. Apparently, it wasn't funny to her. Like, she's like, "Hey, I'm just trying to keep you in the loop." I was like, "Hey, I was joking."
Mm-hmm.
So even though I knew my heart,
Sure.
I was mad
Yeah, it's a stressful situation.
that that was her response to
Yeah.
me. Because when I tried to ask, well, anyway, it just didn't go well,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm like, I looked at Casey. Casey to Ben, he was like, and he said it on air, which really helped.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, "Hey, it's stressful time." Like he just, I mean, in a pinch, like he rallied,
Mm-hmm.
and I was,
Yeah, you can ride with that.
yeah,
Yeah.
because it provided clarity for what the moment was, right? And you could recalibrate. And so when he's when people have all these sweeping judgments, and it's an emotional thing, right?
Yeah.
Fans, it's emotional. Media, it's emotional. Media was on edge this week. The backstories and where you eat and stuff. I mean, there was a lot of things going on other than the actual game.
Yeah.
It was an emotional week, like. But these guys came out ready to play, and so the atmosphere. I watched all day. I got there early. I didn't know when people were going to leave, so I left early. I sat in the media parking lot. I did a lot of the huddle stuff. I'm watching the fans. I backed in. I left the car running. I'm just chopping up
Mm-hmm.
the huddle stuff. I got one of the football games on, so was there a good hour and a half early just watching.
Mm.
I mean early.
Yeah.
Like I think I rolled in at 12,
Oof.
12:15
Yeah.
at the latest.
And people were down there early.
So, because I wanted to feel it,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of lets me know. I just let it wash over me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just thinking to myself, oh, they're in black, they're in black, they're in black. Oh, the band's in black. The pep band's warming up behind me. This family parked next to me from Sioux Falls. They were traveling. I don't know how they got in the lot, but I mean, shout out to them. And so I'm like, all right. Then you're down on the field, and it's early, and Jess and I are doing our hit, and I'm like, okay, like Even B Mac was like, God, you could this feels different.
Mm-hmm.
And we walked in. You have to ask Jess on Wednesday what time we do the hits, but they're early.
Yeah.
They got to be a couple hours, I think. You think I
Beforehand?
would know? Maybe an hour and a half. Let's say an hour and a half. Because what time do the gates actually open? Is it
90
an hour
minutes.
and a half?
Yeah, 90 minutes.
Student section was full.
Yeah, immediately.
So I'm getting ready to do the hit, and
Yeah.
I looked at Jess and I go, "Is this like this is ridiculous?" And the whole thing was black.
Mm-hmm. It looked incredible.
So in my head, all I could think about was, man, the fan base they answered the
100%. Absolutely, they did.
I didn't get in depth on what the theme for the week was, but it was bigger than just a blackout for those guys.
Mm-hmm.
As a team and a coaching staff, which I felt like was cool, and the energy was electric. So I asked KC, because we just lay out and we just let him do his thing for the tunnel walk, and we go to break right after they do the coin toss. I mean, he had T. Fraze out there, he had Aaron Taylor out there. I mean, these aren't guys that just normally are out there and like
hanging around. Yeah.
Right. So there's a certain level of appreciation for a guy that's kind of bringing guys together too.
Mm-hmm.
Right. With Coach Rhule. So there's that part of it too. So I'm kind of emotional. I just saw Aaron, he stood with me at the memorial service. I obviously think a lot of Aaron Taylor. I obviously think a lot of T. Fraze. So I'm like, this is pretty cool. So I looked at Casey. I just wanted confirmation about, my emotions. And is this just me being a baby, a Pisces, an alum? Everything I tell myself to be self-deprecating, right?
Sure.
And he sat back in his chair and he goes, this is amazing. This is so cool. I can't believe they pulled this off.
Mm-hmm.
And he sits back and he just let it wash. This is an objective guy. He's not even a fan yet.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But just to watch him, and it's not his style. He's kind of tough and he's very direct and particular. And to allow himself to just enjoy the environment was so cool. So I say all that to say, why, for the first time in a long time, did I get off of social media? I almost never do. It's whatever, man. I read a lot of good things.
You compartmentalize pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Better than I do.
But I just knew what the moment meant for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it was good for an objective, soon to be converted third party.
Yeah.
It was good for me. It was good for the fan base. It was good for some of the former guys that can't get out of their own way about gimmicks and stunts and publicity things and just playing ball, because they played ball, right? I loved the black, but B Mac was like, do you like the uniform style? And I was like, nah, to be honest, I kind of don't. The fat white numbers is kind of jailbirdy, but I love the black, right?
Yeah.
But I told him, I was like, yeah. I said, if we're rocking, I'm rocking. I said, plus I can read the numbers. Now, will you fix my binoculars? So I gave him the binoculars. I swear to goodness, I gave him the binoculars. And he goes, how do these get so out of whack from the last time that I fixed them to when you give them back to me? I was like, don't be mad, man. Just help me out, right?
That's probably my fault.
Yeah. That was horrible.
I could see fine out of him.
I mean, that was absolutely. So the whole emotion things, and after the game, and just like the anger, I'm like, we missed the mark.
Yeah.
And I had to put the phone down or social media down. I had a guy say this to me. He's not saying it to me, so I'm not being, I can't, my cut's so bad I can't even unlock my phone. Stupid thing.
By the way, did you like the way the field looked?
The field was outstanding. And I'm kind of just line up and play it guy.
Mm-hmm.
So for me to like it, it was truly pretty cool. But so this is the one where I was like, okay, this is just not gonna be a good weekend, because my man truly doesn't get it, and it can't always be about the individual. My man goes, this was in response. So he waited till the loss, which bugged me. right? Like he didn't say anything real time when I sent it.
Mm-hmm.
And why it's not pulling up now? It's um I tweeted out the picture and it just said for perspective. And he comes back with we deserve better. I'm guessing by we he means the fans.
Sure.
Fans want to win more than the players or coaches do every freaking year. And I just was like, I can't, I don't, he may want us to win really, 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 really bad.
Sure.
So I didn't want to get it. And you're going to be like, oh, give him the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, maybe he does. Maybe he does want them to win at a high elite level that I can't comprehend.
Sure.
So I let it go because the general sweeping statement, as if to infer that those guys don't want to win or they don't spend time away from, like, this isn't gonna work. Like, I know where I'm bad,
Mm-hmm.
so instead of
And that was going to go bad.
so instead of just trying to fight it, shut her down.
Can I
guess I don't understand unless you just
So I think it's different,
okay.
right? Because this is a great example of if we don't educate ourselves enough about the actual football of it, sometimes we have.
Les is mad at Nortec. What is Nortec doing? Les doesn't get mad at anybody.
Nortec is claiming that Nortec and Captain are both claiming that it wasn't a dirty tackle on Dylan.
Oh, okay.
So they're just out doing their own thing, which is fine.
I'm cool. All right, sorry.
Anyway, so I think there's a couple things here. Number one, it goes back to the trying to educate yourself on football thing we talked about earlier, where if you're not equipped with the information to look and see what's happening and say, hey, there are some logistical, schematic, execution, whatever reasons on the football field that they're not winning, then you have to go things like effort and care and whatever else, right? That's the only option you're left with. Otherwise, you just have to say, or you say things like, well, we just have enough talent or whatever, right? You go to the things that you can kind of point to that aren't too football-y, right? And listen, I've done the same thing. I'm trying to equip myself with as much information as I can. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, I think the way fans care and the way players and coaches care are different. Fans are very emotional. We think because we are more emotional, we care more. That's not true, right? Care shows up in different ways. I would argue these players and coaches are playing for their livelihoods. Most of us as fans, us a little bit, but most of us as fans do not have our livelihoods depend on how the football team does. Players and coaches absolutely do. And I have a hard time imagining they care less when their livelihood is on the line. I have a hard time imagining they care less when they basically devote a full-time, not basically, literally devote a full-time job to trying to win football games, right? So I have a hard time imagining they care less. I can imagine they're less emotional, and I think that's what we see. Sometimes we see less emotion. We assume people care less. That's not a one-to-one comparison. We have different jobs in this scenario. Our job allows us to be a little bit more emotional. I say our as fans, not as media members. Our job as fans allows us to be a little bit more emotional. As players and coaches, you can't really afford that. You can't afford to be swayed by your emotions that way. Otherwise, you will never get across the finish line. You will never get the things done you're trying to get done. So I can get how it feels like maybe they don't care as much because we don't see the emotion the same way. But I would argue, like, there is so much channeled emotion that just looks different than what our emotions look like that we just don't see it. I mean, I don't think Coach Rhule's freaking out at Turner Corcoran getting pushed and not getting a unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on it because he doesn't care, because he's not emotional in that moment about what's going on. Like, he seemed like he cared a lot there. And you could point to a million things throughout the game. I had people saying he was too mad during the game and too much focusing on the referees and not enough on coaching. And that's why the game management was supposedly so poor. It can't be both, right? It can't be both. I think it just looks different than what we're comfortable with for what caring should look like.
Yeah, I think the key for these guys, I said it to a lot of the players at the at the complex, and it's going to be huge when you go to Pasadena.
Mhm.
Is these guys got to figure out, and a lot of it is what you're talking about, but just in a different form. Sometimes you got to be able to function at an optimum level.
Mhm.
I said optimum, not because it's relative to what you think you can give. So if you don't feel great, give it all.
Mhm.
If emotionally you're a little, give it all.
Mhm.
What's your 70%? I say it all the time because not everybody feels great all the time. So, but what we do is because we don't feel great, we don't give any.
Yeah, can you give 100% of your 70%?
Whatever you got, give it to me.
Right?
I mean, just try it.
Yeah.
Just try it. Like when you don't feel good, whether it's emotional or physically, and it derails you to the end, just try giving what you have as opposed to shutting it down.
Yeah.
We do it all the time. Problem is when you're competing and you get tallies, you can get L's,
Yeah.
you can get W's. So when you're learning how to win or stay on the gas or not ride the EKG of emotions, and this isn't just a Nebraska thing, this is a sports thing. There's a winning on the road versus at home versus down versus all these things matter, but at the end of the day, or variables, but at the end of the day is what's my 70% like? What's my 75% like? Sometimes you get out of the bed and you don't feel good, and it's like, man, today's going to be such and such a day, and you resign yourself to it, as opposed to, man, I don't feel good, but I'm gonna give it what I got.
Buckle down.
I'm gonna give it what I got.
Yeah.
Like the more you can do that in competitions, the better chance you're gonna have at survival, and it's not just physical. I would argue that it's more emotional because that's where you see it rear its ugly head. I mean, even some of the idiocy that we hear in the stream, it's like it's based on emotion. It's not.
I would say it almost all is.
It's not really fact based.
Absolutely.
So, like at that point, because we feel a certain way, we're going to act a certain way.
Yeah.
And at I mean, everybody, we all, listen.
I know. No, you're right. I mean, you're right.
So I think to catch it in the moment is crazy. The game is fascinating because I was walking to, I might have been talking to Ryan because his tailgate, he and Luke, which is elaborate, by the way, they had warmers and a television, and it was incredible. But I said, the weird thing about this game is if you would have just laid these stats out to me and told me the score, I'd tell you 85% of the time Nebraska wins.
I would agree.
Do you know why I kept asking the various questions about would it be about Y PCs or
yards per carry, total yards,
or commitment to rushing, or who did I think would run the ball more? Because I never thought this was going to be some shootout.
Sure, yeah,
never. Even when people would use the term shootout, I would say, okay, hey.
What does that mean?
Let's define what a shootout. But I'm not going to tell people how to think.
But just tell me what you're
thinking.
I
I just want to know, so when we go back and we talk about this later, what you thought. I'm not trying to pin anybody in, but I also don't want the goalpost moved either.
Yeah.
Right? Because this was the type of game Nebraska had to play defensively. I don't care what anybody says. This was the type of game. Now, you don't want to no one wants to give up. What did they get?
201 yards rushing. Yards per carry. I believe it ended up at 5.9.
But you had the
5.3 yards per carry.
Can I just say this?
202, 5.3.
Nortec, I'm gonna rock with you and give you the benefit of the doubt. I have since you've been in here, and we only probably agree about 50% of the time, which is okay. But I just want to ask the question. Let's say the two guys did miss the block. Let's say 7 guys did miss the block that injured a player. and I'm not hung up on the injury. Like, it was 3 minutes of what I said, and I'm not hung up on a dirty tackle, but the continual beating of this to assess accountability, like, well, it's their fault, it's their fault, it's their fault. Are we a guy, Nortak, that excuses poor behavior because of what somebody did to them? It's just an easy yes or no question. Do we excuse poor behavior because of how somebody made them feel? Like, if you made me feel a certain way and I went out and did something that I shouldn't have done, is it your fault? I'm just checking. We can get back to that later. I'm sorry, you were going where? Guys miss blocks all the time in lots of sports, and it's like you see guys get undercut in hoops, or guys get hit in the head with a pitch, and it's almost like we don't say, oh, you just got out of the way,
right?
It's just weird what we want to gravitate towards, but we want to assess blame on missed blocks and not accountability for the action. And I'm pretty consistent with that, right? Because
I
100%. Whether it's the College Football Playoff Committee, and I hammer you about just because it always has, we always say, oh, the second guy always gets caught. Well, sometimes you got to catch the first guy. Stop resting in the fact that we always catch the second guy. Sometimes you just got to get the first guy.
Or sometimes you don't catch either.
So, and I mean, listen, when you're up, there's some real salient points I think Nebraska has to address. Now, maybe they may not present themselves for the rest of the season, and maybe they will. The playing with two scores, the mentality it takes from a sequential play calling standpoint, the fool's gold, taking what I see versus what I need to do. There's lots in games like this, but if you would have told me, I don't know if you'd have given me 200 yards, but if you'd have given me 20 first downs apiece and 200 yards, I'd tell you that Nebraska won.
Yeah, I mean, if we just ran down it,
you know what I mean? And this isn't revision. Like, I've done this long enough to know I'm not going to go back and say what I didn't say. There was a reason I think we talked about, at least I did, the style of play, what would the headlines be, and the yards per versus total yards. I watched this run offense. It is amazing.
Yeah, it's really hard to defend.
The concept is amazing. And it's very – now, why doesn't everybody do it? They try, but you have to have all the pieces at the same time.
And you have to know how to get those guys to execute it in a way. Like, this goes back to my Danny.
If we wanted to take a fine, or what would happen to us, Shane, if we – well, I should ask you because we're the ones that got our wrist slapped. What would happen if we ran two plays, the quarterback run plays by Mayava, versus the rest of what SC was doing on the ground, and we showed that? Would we get in trouble?
Yes.
Bad?
Yeah.
Oh.
What we might be able to do – let me check with this. We might be able to do it.
Because I just think the anxiety and the angst that the fans have.
Yeah.
And it's not just fans. Just in general. It could be media. It could be whomever. On the scheme versus what you have to do. Like, clearly in plays like that, there are quarterback players. Or that's not quarterback. They're inside, outside run fitters. I'm an inside guy. I'm an outside guy. We like to say, hey, we always want 5 on dive. All that means is we want anything that hits between the tackles. We want 5. We want 5 guys there. The cavalry will come, but at the initial point of attack, we want 5 on dive. Then there's the other little rules we have, and everybody's different about exchange responsibility. I like to say, hey, belly to, I got Q, right? If his belly is to me, I've got Q, right? 2 times we see a double fit where I'm just off your hip, but I'm not leveraged enough. That was Shavers on the touchdown run. Even though Petshot gets down to dive, he's a dive player.
So that was his job there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Petshot is supposed to get down to dive. I think Shavers inserts and takes the next outside run fit.
So he didn't get outside far enough.
Well, he just hesitated.
Okay.
He peeked inside because I think he thought that's where the ball went.
Gotcha.
So it's just fundamental.
Yeah.
Right. And It just is what it is, right? It's not any different than if I say 9. I think if he had it to do over again. Now, maybe Petchak is supposed to slow play, but I think he's an inside run fitter because he gives them 5. I think Shavers fits off of Petchak. I think alley running safety fits off of Shavers.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I think if you draw it up.
Yeah.
Now, the long run, Nebraska had 5. But what happens is it's very similar where you have one extra guy that gets down to dive that is responsible for Q.
Yeah.
Those are why those plays work. But they had been gapping you to death
on the
counter.
Yeah.
They hadn't really ran the ball.
No.
All game. I mean, that's just why football matters, right? And those plays amassed for what, 40 of the running yards?
40 of his 60, yeah. Or 58, whatever he ended up with.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Especially in totality of the 200.
And especially
right? That's 20% of the play. That's 20% of the yards.
Yeah.
Like those
that matters.
That matters.
Yeah, a lot.
Like when you're actually when you go back and you watch the film versus just looking at the stats, it matters.
I've got a question for you. In